Call to order, City of Forest Park City Council meeting number 1294, June 5th, 2017. Let's stand for the pledge, please.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Here.
Collins.
Here.
Cottle.
Here.
Herbie.
Here.
Holt.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Southall.
Is there a motion, Councilwoman Herbie?
Yes, I'd move to excuse Councilman Southall.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we excuse Councilman Southall. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion to excuse, let it be known by the sign of voting aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Councilman Southall is excused. Next item on the agenda is minutes. You received copies of the minutes. Any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, the minutes will stand approved as presented. Next item on the agenda is a presentation. We have no presentation, but there is a motion. Councilwoman Herbie.
Yes, I would move to amend the agenda and take up at this time item A under new business, a motion to appoint a candidate to the Environmental Awareness Board of Directors and Tax Board of Review.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we amend the agenda and take up at this time item A under new business. This is a motion to appoint a candidate to the Environmental Awareness Board of Directors and the Tax Board of Review. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll?
Burns.
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Cottle.
Yes.
Herbie.
Yes.
Holt.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes, the motion to amend the agenda passes 6-0. We'll move to the next item, item A. We need a motion, Councilwoman Holt.
Yes. I would like to make a motion to appoint Mr. Amadou Dia to the Environmental Awareness Board of Directors and the Tax Board of Review for the terms expiring November 30, 2019.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we appoint Mr. Amadou Dia to the Environmental Awareness Board of Directors and the Tax Board of Review for the terms expiring November 30, 2019. Is there any discussion?
I would just like to say thanks to Mr. Amadou for his willingness to volunteer for the city of Forest Park.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of voting aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So Amadou then is appointed. Would you come forward and take the oath, please? Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Would you raise your right hand and repeat after me? I, and state your name,
I, Amadou Dia,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and
and
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the State of Ohio,
of the State of Ohio,
the Charter
the Charter
of the Municipality
of the Municipality
of Forest Park,
of
Ohio,
Forest Park, Ohio,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
as a member of the Environmental Awareness
as a member
Board of Directors
as a member of the Environmental Awareness Board of Directors
and as a member of the Tax Board of Review.
and member of Tax Board of Review.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to have a word?
Just is an honor and privilege to have that, to be volunteer and help out the city of Forest Park, which is a great city, and looking forward to work with the environmental. Already we start working because I've been in some of these meetings, and next step will be the tax board. I'll probably be meeting them next coming. Thank you very much.
Thank you again.
Appreciate it.
Here, this is yours also. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is item number 4, communications from the public. This is the time for citizens to comment on matters before council, or to ask questions of concern to them. When recognized, please come forward to the podium, give your name and address, and then state your comments or questions. Council meetings are tape recorded for ease of transcription. Comments are limited to 5 minutes. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address council? Seeing no one, we go to item number 5, reports of standing committees. The first of these would be Community Development Committee. Mr. Barnes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to remind members of council that we will have a joint meeting with the school board, I believe on the 18th of this month, here in the upstairs meeting room at 6:30.
Okay. Anything else?
No, thank you.
And on the third floor?
Yes, on the second
Okay.
floor.
Yeah, second. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Barnes?
I'm thinking of the basement too.
Third floor.
Is actually
Upstairs.
considered the third floor.
Third
One of
floor,
those.
yeah.
Third floor.
Yeah. Any questions for Mr. Barnes? It's the 22nd, did you say?
It's
The
22nd.
22nd instead of the 18th.
Oh, it's
okay?
22nd? This is school board. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Barnes, I have one item on the agenda for you for the work session on the 12th Residential Energy Efficiency Program. Do you have anything to add?
No, thank you.
Next committee report is Law Committee, Councilwoman Collins.
I have no report from the Law Committee at this time.
Questions for Councilwoman Collins? Hearing none, Councilwoman Collins, I have no items on the agenda for the work session on the 12th. Do you have any to add?
No.
Next committee report is Human Resources Committee, Councilwoman Holt.
I do not have a Human Resource Committee report, but as the liaison for the beautification, I would like everybody to know that this weekend is the weekend for the flags. It's still not too late to get your flowers out. Make Forest Park beautiful. Thank you.
Any questions for Councilwoman Holt? Councilwoman Holt, I have no items on the agenda for you for Human Resources for the work session on the 12th. Do you have any to add?
No, I do not. Thanks.
Okay, next report is Public Improvement and Facilities, Mr. Southall, who's absent. I have not received anybody reporting for him. For the work session on the 12th, there's one item for him. That's the West Kemper Road Municipal Funds. The next committee report is Public Safety Committee. Councilwoman Collins, Councilwoman Cottle, I don't have a report. If you do, you have anything?
Just one thing, please. As far as the public safety liaison to the police and fire department, I did want to bring up, and it was recommended by our chief, Alfie Jones. Remember, summer is a time for the swimming and boating, and we enjoy that. But also, let's remember swimming safety. Drowning and near drowning can be prevented, and each one of us can help. Know where your children are at all times. Always have a designated child watcher. If a child's missing, check the pool first. Learn to swim, learn CPR. Never swim alone, and never swim with thunder or lightning present. The last thing is never dive into unfamiliar areas, and that would conclude my report. Thank you.
Any questions?
What committee is that?
Hearing none, Councilwoman, I don't have anything for the work session on the 12th. Do you have anything to add?
No, thank you.
Next report is Ways and Means, Councilwoman Herbie.
Yes, I have no Ways and Means report, but again, as liaison for environmental, I'm going to report on the paper shredding event that took place last Saturday. There were 188 vehicles which came, and we collected 12,800 pounds of shredded paper, and it's a little more than 2 years ago, but less than last year. And we want to thank our partners in this, the AKA Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. Thank you.
Any questions for Councilwoman Herbie? Councilwoman Herbie, I have one item on the agenda for you for the work session on the 12th, and that's disposal of surplus properties. Do you have anything to add? No. Thank you. Next report is Intergovernmental Relations and Communications. I have no report on that at this time. However, I would hasten to add that unfortunately, in the area of Mayor's Court, because school's out and it's hot and it's summertime, activity is bound to pick up. There are no items on the agenda for the work session on the 12th. Moving to item number 6, the mayor's report. I would just like to report on a couple of things. First of all, I too attended, I worked always, I worked with Wright on Saturday for the paper shredding. This has come to be a very, very popular activity that the city does. It's one of those things where when you start it, you better be ready to continue it because people expect it. And this year, even though it was broadened to Wright made a specifically said not just restricted to Forest Park and area residents, but county. In Councilwoman Herbie's report, she pointed out that we collected more tonnage this year than we did the first year, but not as much as last year. I think last year we had 14,000 pounds and 254 cars. Well, a major reason for that drop-off is there are so many places now doing shredding, not just over our county, but over the whole area. Almost every weekend, especially in the spring and summer, somebody's doing shredding, which is a good thing. So even though we didn't collect as much, there are more is being collected overall. And I know that adding to our tonnage, on her way to church, Councilwoman Holt came by and dropped off a couple of pieces of paper. So we thank you for that, and thank everybody who participated. It really is a good effort, and again, also I'd like to add my thanks to the AKA sorority. They really do a lot of different things with the city, especially in the areas of parks and recs and environmental. And that will conclude my report. And I will add to this coming weekend, the 10th and the 11th, as Councilwoman Holt stated, is I think we call it, it's yard beautification, but we call it Flag Day because that's what everybody wants, is a flag. And one of the things that I have learned over the years in with this activity, like the paper shredding is getting to be, we couldn't stop doing this if we wanted to. I have never seen such enthusiasm over getting a flag. The only downside to getting the flag, to the beautification and Flag Day, is Sunday night through Tuesday night for me, because everybody who did not get one and thought that they should, I get the call, or Rachel gets the calls, and we end up trying to pacify in some cases, and some cases we don't. And the last thing I will say on this, because people do have time to make changes, if you are using plastic and artificial flowers, you cannot get a flag. Now, I want to repeat that because we always run into that. If you're using plastic, artificial flowers, you do not qualify to get a flag. That would end my report. I'll answer any questions if there are any.
We're going to get some calls about that.
The next item on the agenda, item number 7, City Manager's Report. Mr. Hodges.
Thank you. I'll report only that the departmental reports were all completed. They're placed on file with the Clerk of Council, and they're available for public inspection. Also, we'll mention that if you've driven by the basketball court recently in Central Park, that is moving along exactly as scheduled, and the result will be completed by late June or so, and then we'll reopen the courts. But that would conclude my report. I would respond to any questions if there are any.
Any questions for the City Manager? Okay. Thank you, sir. Next item on the agenda, item number 8, other reports. First of those being Law Director, Mr. Wyckoff.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Since last council meeting, I reviewed a few contracts that the city is going to be adopting, one with Swift Reach, and made comments regarding all of these. Another with a new home energy efficiency program, the E911 service vendor, and then expressed some opinions regarding the denial of insurance coverage on the Department of Labor issue. I've indicated that I do agree with what the insurance carrier concluded, and also legal services related to the appointment of the new city manager. If there are any questions regarding those matters or anything else, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions for the law director? Hearing none, we'll move to the next report on the other. Clerk of Council, Ms. Dirksen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to report that ordinance numbers 03-2017 and 04-2017 were posted as required. And that concludes my report.
Any questions for Clerk of Council? Hearing none, then we would move to new business. The next item on the new business will be B, since we moved A. There would be a motion. Councilwoman Holt.
I would like to make a motion to convene to an executive session to discuss land acquisition and personnel matters related to the selection of a new city manager.
Second. It's been moved and second that we convene into executive session to discuss land acquisition and personnel matters related to the selection of the new city manager. Is there any discussion?
No.
Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on the motion?
Collins.
I make a motion that we do not discuss, that we table the discussion regarding the appointment of a new city manager until we interview a fourth candidate, as we had decided to do in the administrative process of deciding what our course would be as far as hiring a new manager.
The motion to, she's making a motion to table for the clerk. Does that take precedent over the current motion on the floor? It does. But first it has to get a second. Is there a second to that motion to table?
There has to be a second to the
right.
motion.
There was a second to the first motion, yeah.
Well, she's making a motion to table the one issue regarding the executive appointment.
Right.
So that table has to be either not seconded or voted upon before you can go on to the original, yes.
But we can't vote on it if there's no second.
Correct.
Is there a second?
Okay.
Hearing none, the motion to table does not receive a vote because it did not receive a second. So then we would go to the main motion to go into executive session, which requires a roll call.
Yes.
Right. Would the clerk please call the roll on the motion to convene into executive session?
Burns.
Yes.
Collins.
No.
Cottle. Yes.
Herbie.
Yes.
Holt.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. The motion to go into executive session passes 5-1. At this time, we will go into executive session. No official business will be taken during the executive session. Votes are not taken. At the end of the executive session, we will come out and reconvene. The executive session will be adjourned, and we will reconvene in the regular meeting session where there will be two business items on, one or two business items on the agenda to vote on. So at this point, we would go into executive session. We need a motion to adjourn the executive session and reconvene into the regular council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn the executive session and that we reconvene into the regular council meeting. All those in favor of the motion to adjourn and reconvene, let it be known by the sign of voting aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're now back into the regular session, and we'll go down to item C. And item C will be a motion. Councilwoman Holt.
I would like a motion to concur with the recommendation of the Human Resources Committee for the appointment of the new city manager.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we concur with the recommendation of the Human Resources Committee for the appointment of a new city manager. Is there any discussion?
No.
Is there any discussion on this motion to accept the recommendation of the Human Resources Committee?
I move.
Councilwoman, no, you can speak. You can't make a motion, but you can speak to it, to the motion that's on the floor. Yeah. You can speak to the motion if you object to the motion or whatever. You can say whatever you want to say now. You don't have to. You don't do it in the form of a motion. Is what I'm saying.
I object to the motion because a properly convened executive session of council, we decided that we would interview 4 candidates for the position. At some point in some fashion, we only interviewed 3 candidates for the position, and I believe that there may have been a different outcome had we interviewed 4 candidates for the position. Because we did not, this body is not acting in accordance with the agreement made by a convened body of council, properly convened body of council, to interview 4, or it's not acting in accordance with a emergency session of council on the issue that we would interview 3 instead of 4, and it's not acting in accordance with a work session or any other informed and properly convened body of council, that there would be only 4 interviewees as opposed to, 3 interviewees as opposed to 4 interviewees. I believe that we should not move forward with accepting the Human Relations Committee's non-unanimous recommendation that we appoint the city manager that they have selected, that 2 of the members have selected as for that person to be the next city manager.
Any other discussion? Mr. Burns.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to state for the record, the guidance that was given as a result of the initial executive session was 3, with a consideration of a 4th candidate in the form of a resume. At the next general meeting, or the next executive session, 3 were selected and a 4th was considered and subsequently selected as consideration. Just so we're clear. So the initial guidance from that first meeting was 3 with the consideration of a 4th, not a strong 4th. And thank you for that time.
Anyone else? Hearing none, I believe this is just
I have something. I would just want to clarify also that 4 people were not interviewed because we decided that. The 4th person decided they didn't know, they were no longer interested in being interviewed.
I believe this is a voice vote for the recommendation. All those in favor of the motion to concur with the recommendation of the Human Resources Committee for the appointment of the new city manager, let it be known by the sign of voting aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
No. Okay. Just for the record, all those in favor of the motion to concur with the recommendation, please raise your hands. Would the clerk please count the ones that are for?
5.
And those that are opposed, raise your hand.
1.
Motion then carries 5-1. Next item on the agenda is a resolution. Would the clerk please read this resolution in full?
Resolution number 10-2017. A resolution to appoint Mr. Ty Smith as City Manager of the City of Forest Park, Ohio, and authorizing the Mayor and Law Director to negotiate a contract. Whereas, due to the scheduled December 31st, 2017 retirement of the current City Manager and the vacancy that it will leave, it necessitates the selection of a new City Manager and the initiation of a smooth transitioning process. And whereas the position of City Manager was advertised internally and externally to solicit the widest range of qualified applicants. And whereas the candidate pool was narrowed and final candidates were interviewed by a citizen committee which consisted of 3 council members representing the Human Resources Committee, in addition to the mayor and a selected long-term resident of the City of Forest Park. And whereas after detailed interviews and considerable deliberation, the Human Resources Committee, by a majority vote, recommends to the full council body Mr. Ty Smith as the new city manager. And whereas Mr. Ty Smith has served as career advisor and office of college program recruiter for Wright State University in Dayton, Ohio, from March 1989 to September 1993, has served as Director of Public Relations, Director of Human Resources, and Assistant to the City Manager of Trotwood, Ohio, from September 1993 to January 1995, has served as the Director of Human Resources for the Montgomery County Park District in Dayton, Ohio, from January 1995 to through December 1996, and has served as Human Resources Director for the City of Forest Park, Ohio, since January the 8th, 1996, and also serves as Acting City Manager for the City Manager of the City of Forest Park, Ohio, during absences of the City Manager. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the City of Forest Park, Ohio, Section 1, that the Council of the City of Forest Park hereby appoints Mr. Ty Smith as City Manager effective January the 1st, 2018, and further authorizes the Mayor and Law Director to negotiate a contract to complete the appointment of Mr. Ty Smith effective January 1st, 2018. Section 2. This resolution shall be in full force and take effect after its passage.
Is there a motion? Councilwoman Holt.
I make a motion to adopt resolution number 10-2017.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution number 10-2017. Is there a discussion?
Well, since the motion, resolution was read in full, I think it's self-explanatory.
Any further discussion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we table resolution number 10-2017.
Is there a second? Is there a second? Hearing no second, the motion to table dies. Then we return to the main motion of resolution number 10-2017. Would the clerk please call the roll on that motion?
Burns?
Yes.
Collins?
No.
Cottle?
Yes.
Herbie?
Yes.
Holt?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes. Resolution number 10-2017 passes 5-1. Is there any further business to come before the body? Any further business to come before the body? Hearing none, the meeting is adjourned.